Hello and welcome to this very special episode on the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald. My name is Thomas for the What's on My Mind show, and this is a fairly special episode for multiple reasons. One, the release of this episode marks the 50th anniversary of the sinking of the SS Edmund Fitzgerald on November 10th, 1975, and it marks the 50 and it marks an even more important milestone of of nearly 50 years of the release of the famous song by Gordon Lightfoot, "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald," which happened in 1976. Now, for those of you who are unaware about the Edmund Fitzgerald, or who don't know about this particular vessel, the SS Edmund Fitzgerald was a Great Lakes freighter. Now a freighter is obviously a freight carrying ship that typically have a pilot house at the very front of the ship and have their a very, very, very long middle section. Most of them are well over 1,000 feet. The Edmund Fitzgerald had an overall length of 729 feet, roughly 222 meters, and a an average weight of 13,632 gross registered tons. She had a coal-fired Westinghouse Electric Corporation steam turbine, 7,500 horsepower engine, and was converted to an oil fuel with automated boiler controls in the winter of 1972. Her propulsion was a single fixed pitch, 19.5 feet, roughly 5.9 meter propeller, and she had a top speed of roughly 16 miles per hour with a complement or crew of 29. On the date that she sank, she was carrying an estimated 26,000 tons of iron ore. Now that is a lot of iron ore. That's not like, that is a large amount of cargo. And the amount of iron ore has been greatly debated. Actually, the cause of the sinking has been greatly debated. The most widely accepted cause of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald was that she bottomed out on a shoal, which is a type of underwater landmass, essentially a type of coral reef that led to a hull fracture or a structural failure. She sank at roughly 7 p.m. No distress call was received, and the last message received from the Fitzgerald was at approximately 7:10 p.m. Quote, "We are holding our own," which was the last thing ever heard from the Fitzgerald. Now, there's a tradition within the maritime community of listing the names of all of the crew, and I'm going to do that now. Michael Armagost, third mate. Frederick Beecher, porter. Thomas Benston, oiler. Edward Bindon, first assistant engineer. Thomas Orgeson, maintenance man. Oliver Champeau, third assistant engineer. Nolan Church, porter. Ransom Cundy, watchman. Thomas Edwards, second assistant engineer. Russell Haskell, second assistant engineer. George Holl, chief engineer. Bruce Hudson, deckhand. Alan Calvin, second cook. Gordon McClellan, wiper. Joseph Mazes, special maintenance man. John McCarthy, first mate. Eugene O'Brien, wheelsman. Karl Peckol, watchman. John Poviach, wheelsman. James A. Pratt, second mate. Robert Rafferty, steward. Paul Riippa, deckhand. John Simmons, wheelsman. William Spengler, watchman. Mark Thomas, deckhand. Ralph Walton, oiler. David E. Weiss, cadet. Blaine Wilhelm, oiler. Ernest Michael McSorley, captain. The 30,000 lives lost on the Great Lakes. Gordon Lightfoot, may you all forever rest in peace. I want to thank you all for watching. I know that was not all that easy of a video to get through, and I'm sorry. If you want any more information about the Edmund Fitzgerald, there's a fantastic podcast episode that I will link in the description if you want any more information. Other than that, thank you for watching. This has been the What's on My Mind show. My name is Thomas. And may the Edmund Fitzgerald forever rest in peace.